with one voice, we're a nation undivided and wise. We will take a stand and build our land in faith to defend what is ours. Here we are as a people with one heart for one cause. We're determined to rebuild and restore.
You're listening to Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic. Before the bridges came, before the city stretched its arms to the sky, there was a voice carried by the great Niger, whispered in the winds that danced through the Obunike caves. A voice that told the stories of kings, traders, warriors, and dreamers. That voice still speaks. That voice is us. We are Udala Radio, 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
When politics unfolds, when decisions are made, we reveal the impact. Welcome to the Polity, your deep dive into the forces shaping governance, policies, and power. From the halls of government.
You were there. I was not there. Check the record. Wait now. I was not there.
To the voices of the people.
We are suffering. This suffering is too much. It's too much. Look at the students. There's no job. They finish school. There's no job for them.
We analyze the undercurrents, expose the intrigues, and break down the narratives that define our democracy. Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki delivering razor-sharp analysis, and Ebuka Franklin and Chisom on the question wheel, driving the conversation. We bring you the most compelling discussions on governance, policies, and power plays. Stay informed, stay engaged, stay ahead. The Polity, every weekdays at 9:15 a.m. Exclusive on Udala 104.7 FM Onitsha.
It is Monday, the 5th of January 2025, 2 days after Venezuela was invaded by the United States. And of course, if you've been following that development, a lot is at stake with the president and his wife whisked away. Trends on social media insinuate that while security officials were securing a place, the person they were securing was taken away by the United States. And this is happening shortly after the United States would I say invaded, or not necessarily invaded, it was a collaborative bombing in some parts of Zamfara and Sokoto state that is supposed to be a stronghold for some ISIS terrorists. But shortly after that happened in Nigeria over the weekend, we had an attack in Niger State that claimed over 30 lives. According to reports, the death toll is increasing. And of course, it's rather unfortunate that also over the weekend, there was an issue in Yobe State where a boat capsized and about 25 people were lost to that incident. It is rather unfortunate that things like this still happen in this age and time. About a year or two ago, we had a number of these boats capsizing, and we raised the awareness about doing the right things. You know, are these boats safe? Are they sound enough to be on the water bodies, conveying numbers of human beings? And if they are the persons they are conveying properly kitted in case of any eventualities? These questions are yet to be answered. Regulations yet to be put in place and thoroughly enforced. And also, over the weekend, the federal government dropped a defamation case against Senator Natasha Akpoti. If you have been following this case, Natasha versus the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, Natasha has accused Akpabio of several things, including sexual harassment, and all of the charges against Natasha have been dropped. Questions have been asked now. On what basis? What gave for these or this particular development to be? Because you know how they say it, something has to give for certain things to happen. But of course, all of these we get to look at on today's edition of the Polity. Good morning to you and welcome. I am Chisom Chinedu. Franklin Ebuka is here. Good morning, Franklin.
Good morning, Chisom. Good morning to everybody listening. And if you've raised lots of things captured in various newspapers, and I must say that top of the world right now as we speak is what happened in Venezuela, where U.S. government led by Donald Trump, invaded that very country and was able to, should I say, arrest Nicolas Maduro and the wife. And as we speak now, they are in New York, and they are set for arraignment in court this very Monday. And guess what? Somebody could say that this is the climax of, should I say, bad blood or rivalry that began about 2 or 3 decades ago, because it didn't start today. Even when Hugo Chavez was in power, U.S. and Venezuela, they haven't been the best of friends. But of course, Maduro, who succeeded Hugo Chavez after he died in, I think that should be in 2013, he won the first election, and the second one went for second one, and he won narrowly, in as much as people claim that election was rigged. And we know that ever since Trump came on board, he has not spared Maduro, because he has called him the man who runs a drug cartel that smuggles illicit drugs into America. And on Saturday, we saw the culmination of action that began some months ago. Don't forget that should be towards the beginning of this very year, that Trump gave out, or Trump promised anybody who was going to give information that can lead to his arrest $25 million. And today they have their man. But on the other side, people are asking questions whether actually what Trump was trying to do is to dismantle the drug cartel, which he claimed that Maduro was running, or whether he's targeting the oil in Venezuela, because he had made a comment that U.S. government is going to run the country and run the oil companies pending when they have a new transition. So let's see what gets to happen in that very one. Then you also mentioned the issue of boat mishaps, yes, that we recorded in northern part of Nigeria. You mentioned only Jigawa State, but in Yobe State, okay, you mentioned Yobe.
Yobe and Niger.
Yes, but that's one that also happened in Jigawa State.
Interesting.
So over the weekend, we had about 49 lives confirmed lost in 2 different boat mishaps, and many bodies are still, or many persons are still missing.
Yet to be found.
They are unaccounted as we speak, and that tells you what we keep talking about on this platform. I don't know why we have turned a blind eye to this issue of water transportation, because I know that in this country, is it because we have the high and the mighty who use who use the air for transportation? That's why we pay every kind of attention to ensure that safety is guaranteed. But for water transport, we hardly pay any attention to it, and every time, from time to time, we keep on wasting lives on water transport. I don't know how long it's going to take us for us to do something meaningful. We know that in the aftermath of the death of Junior Pope, we know how some governments tried to reacted. We're going to provide this, we're going to provide that. Anybody who is running a ferry system without life jacket and this and this and that, we're going to do this. But what becomes of it? It's still the same old story where there's no regulation. And then the Niger State incident, there are reports claiming that some Papiri school children were re-abducted in that incident. So we're waiting to hear from the Catholic school whether they are going to confirm this
School hasn't
or
started.
not.
So what are the odds?
Not from the school, according to the report, not from the school this time around. So we are trying to see, by the time we hear from the church, if they're going to confirm this or disprove it. But as we speak now, interesting thing. Then the last one that you didn't mention is the should I say the hocus pocus that we have seen over the image of Mr. President and the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame. People are asking questions because the presidency put out an image saying that President Bola Tinubu had a meeting with Paul Kagame in France, but there appear to be like AI watermark, Grok AI watermark on the picture, and people are now asking questions if actually there was a meeting between President Bola Tinubu and the Paul Kagame in France. Why was the picture AI generated? So we'll rest the case here for now.
Okay, unfortunately, that also raised a lot of conversations over the weekend. And of course, Dr. Tony Olisa Mbeki is here. Tony, yesterday night, human rights activist Chidi Odinkalu, I don't know, some persons have called it breaking the table. You would maybe have a different word for what he said. So I'm just going to pick out one of the statements he made yesterday night during our television program. He said that President Tinubu does not need the vote of Nigerians to be president. All he needs is INEC and judges to give him a result. How would you interpret that statement?
First and foremost, good morning, Chisom Chinet. Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, Ndi Anambra. Good morning, Ndi Onitsha, Donido. Good morning, Ndi Osumo. Good morning, everyone under the reach of our voice. A beautiful Monday morning here, the 15th month of January in the year 2026. And we're happy to be here. We thank God Almighty who has kept us and who has done so much marvelous things for us to be here, to be alive, to be held and healthy, and to perfect the truth as always say. And this is our sanctuary. We are back after the weekend festivities and Christmas and New Year festivities. We are back. It's good to have all of you. And then coming to your question about what Chidi Odinkalu said, that he doesn't, and maybe the president does not need the votes of Nigerians to be president. All he needs is just INEC and judges. You know, INEC will first proclaim, declare, and the judges will do what? Confirm. So, but things are right, you know, they are changing, and US is becoming tough. And many people around the world are calling on US to strengthen democratic institutions, to where these institutions have over the years failed as a result of activities of state actors. And UN is not even looking at international laws, they're not looking at local laws, they're not looking at even their own laws. Trump is doing whatever he thinks he can to save countries, or possibly in his own rating anyway. Because when such was said, people were saying, rig election and Trump will capture you the way he captured Nicolas Maduro and the wife Celia Flores. I heard such comments. I think there was somebody who appeared on national television and was saying that. Say, ask him, Mr. President, try and rig this election and be captured. And look at what is going on in Iran. Trump has warned Iranian government that if they do anything on protesters, the US will intervene. Allow protesters to express their views. It is one of the democratic tenets. It is one of the democratic ingredients. And he was serious about the warning that if you go roughshod, if you do anything to protesters in Iran, the US will intervene. And at the same time, Trump has also warned Colombia to be careful. So you find out that the US president doesn't care about territorial integrity, he doesn't care about sovereignty. Those things do not matter to him. He tells every country what they may not want to hear. But he hasn't spoken as far as Nigeria is concerned. Before now, remember I have said, you cannot arrest a sitting president of a sovereign nation. You cannot. But we saw that in Venezuela, as you rightly captured Franklin. Even when US did not recognize Nicolas Maduro as legitimate president, but even at that, the court in Venezuela has confirmed him and also confirmed the election in 2024. even in the one of 2028 was very, very cantankerous. A lot happened, and then we've seen over how many million people migrated from Venezuela, and that has caused a lot of spike in so many countries. But in all of this, one man is not listening. In fact, he did not even inform U.S. Congress about that mission. And I saw what Femi Falana wrote, that Trump should obey international law, obey U.S. laws, and all. He doesn't care. And I listened to Hesgate, the Secretary of Defense. I also listened to Marco Rubio. I listened to all of them. And they said, how could we have told the Congress? If you had done that to the Congress, the mission will be subverted. So it was a clear mission to capture this man and to set the people of Venezuela free. But we saw celebration in some parts of the world, because many Venezuelans, many of them are in Spain, many of them are scattered all over the world. And we've seen how the economy has collapsed. And the U.S. president has said they are going to run Venezuela. So what it means that Venezuela is their new colony until whatever happens. But that is, by the way, we are coming back to the question when Chidkam said, if President Tinubu, he doesn't need anybody's votes, or he needs his INEC and Mopitan to declare him winner, and possibly Nigerian Supreme Court to also confirm that. But some people are warning Nigerian president, be careful, because if you do not allow Nigerians to express their franchise on deciding who becomes their president, Trump will come after you. That's the message. And every president, most presidents around the world, they are beginning to think, and nobody's talking. That's apart from China and Russia that have been talking, because these countries have been enemies to the United States of America, because these are socialist countries. And apart from China, everybody is quiet. Femi Fani-Kayode that used to insult US, he hasn't been talking. Probably he has been warned. Now he has been designated as ambassador. He's ambassador designate anyway. He hasn't. He went to his page. I was thinking the way he writes all those things when Israel will be dealing with maybe West Bank and then Palestinian and US support, he will be dishing out a lot of things. Now Femi Fani-Kayode hasn't said anything, and possibly people may have warned him, stay put, don't say anything. And we saw some Northerners, we saw them protesting against Trump. In fact, there was this effigy they raised, and they were saying no to Trump, no to Trump. Maybe Mr. President to be worried that whoever organized such protests against Trump in the North should be careful, because nobody would want the wrath of Donald Trump. And one thing you should know is, if Trump decides to come after you, nobody would even save you, because they are number one when it comes to defense, with number of ammunition, soldiers, and many things. You can't beat them in area. You can't beat United States of America in area battle, on land battle, sea battle, everywhere. You can't beat them. So that is just that. But the thing is, we are looking. Many Nigerians have also been calling on Trump to take Nigerian 2027 election serious, and to see that the will of this country is actually respected. The Nigerians are allowed to vote. But would Trump do that? Would he also come into that? We are watching. But remember, Nigeria is a sovereign nation, a country that has its own sovereignty, and not even America can interfere in our internal affairs. But one man does not care. He does interfere in internal affairs of so many countries. He believes that the rights of the people must be respected, and the wishes of the people must at all time prevail. That's one man, Trump. He doesn't care about the law. He doesn't look at any law. That's what he does. But such trend, is it good for international politics and international, business climate and everything? But we'll go to see that. But Chidodem Kanu, his statement, it's not just about President Tinubu. Most presidents do not even need Nigerian votes. All they care is INEC to make the declaration and the Supreme Court to authenticate the declaration. Much would happen will be protests, and if protest comes, it will be erupted. But the dynamics seems to be changing because of the way and manner Trump goes about things like this. So that is another thing. So Mr. President, you see how he was quick enough to cooperate with the United States of America on the strike we saw somewhere in Sokoto, and even at that, he has been cooperating with the United States of America. How long can he cooperate is another thing. And if you look around, Mr. President knows why he hasn't traveled to the United States of America since he was elected president. The two United Nations General Assembly that had happened since he assumed office, Chatima was the one that went there. So many have been asking this question: why is President Tinubu somehow does not want to enter into United States of America? I had thought by now that even if he goes in there, diplomatic immunity will protect him. But from what happened to Nicolas Maduro, I've had a different thought altogether. And Mr. President may have known this all this while. Because if you look at Trump, he said that Maduro has been indicted in US. Indicted, that's the word. That he needs to face what? Charges. And if you look at somebody like Atiku, he will tell you that our president was one time indicted. So many complicities, and many people are beginning to think deep what is really going on. But in all of this, Mr. President has been in France, even when the presidency does not want to say it out. We know his routine, but on the AI generated image, it's very laughable, no doubt, because Bayo Nonoga goofed this time around. He really goofed. You cannot, in a way, to massage, to launder the image of the president. You mistakenly forgot there is a watermark, Grok watermark, on that image of President and Paul Kagame. It's embarrassing, very embarrassing. He didn't see that coming. But in Nigeria, even when I saw the picture, I did not even notice it. But trust Nigerians, they look at every unforeseen spirit. No matter how that spirit is, even if that spirit is unforeseen, many Nigerians will see that spirit. They will see even beyond the water. So that's, and it's embarrassing. So what it means that the image you gave is not original image.
So what's the proof that the meeting even held in the first place?
That could be that maybe the meeting may have held, but the image is now putting everything in doubt. I have said this many times: the need for government at different levels to build trust in a way to manage the image of such government. You must be truthful at all times. I've said it many times: the need for us to be truthful. But look at what happened. What a mistake. What a mistake. How would people believe again anything you dish out? Even when that could have been corrected. I'm not saying that he could have deleted the grok, because for us it means that some of the things we've been seeing, they are for the optics. They may not really be genuine. They may not really be true. But we've been believing. Even when Nigerians may not want to believe. But this one is a clear case of this has been business as usual. But when you've been good in doing certain things and getting away with it, there could be a day luck will run out of you.
Every day is for the
That is just that, and maybe that's what Nigerians are concluding. It's embarrassing.
I'm just looking at that very picture now, because if you go to the Mr. President X handle, you will see that very post he made. That was 16 hours ago. He said, "This afternoon, I had a private lunch with His Excellency President Paul Kagame of Rwanda to discuss the current state of world affairs and advancing Africa in an ever-changing global landscape." And he tagged Paul Kagame in that very post. It's possible, like Tony said, that the meeting held. But the issue is, how did the handlers of this very page, goof this very well by using AI-generated video image to post this very story? So what's stopping them from posting the story without the image?
Without the image.
If there was none.
Anyway, we're going to go to tell you what the front pages say. Right after that, we'll dive into a deeper part of the conversation. Like we told you earlier, something happened in Niger State. Death toll is around 30 to 50. We'd like to find out why Niger is a steady target. But of course, on the front pages of the papers this morning, we have the Tribune, Vanguard, Guardian, and the Punch. A big advertorial on all of the front pages from the Nigeria Revenue Service. Franklin, they're already celebrating this new tax regime.
Well, okay, let me share this experience that a friend of mine shared. The thing is, I do not know whether it's paranoia or whether it's been miscommunication we have seen from different parts why so many Nigerians are in this kind of difficult moment. Do you know that many Nigerians have not been paying their money into banks?
Yes.
That I don't know if you witnessed that during festivity there was scarcity of cash in the banks. You go to bank asking for 100,000 and bank will manage to give you 40,000 and ask you to go home, because Nigerians have been trying to keep their money at home because of the uncertainty surrounding the tax law. Now, you mentioned the issue of what's it called again? Yeah, the issue of tax, NRS. Now, so let me share the story I'm talking about. A friend of mine told me how people who have been paying in money into his account, how they have been given different kinds of narration based on what people have said. Someone sent him money and they labeled it burial money. So
it happened to me just last weekend on Friday after work. I had gone to buy peanuts. Just down the road there. And the woman said, because he had narration. I said, okay, narration peanut. Osimumba gift. Seriously.
The thing is that Nigerians have heard many things, whether true or untrue. And it boils down to the fact that information has not been circulating the way it's supposed to circulate. And for us in the media, who are supposed even to educate the people, we don't even know the correct version of the law that we can use to talk to people. But the thing is this, which I want us to take note of. We have this culture of people not paying tax because of how government has used our money, and that fear that I'm going to begin to pay tax now will always be there. But another thing people do not know is that when it comes to income tax, it's not the federal government that's going to collect it. It's the state where you reside. Like for us who reside here in Anambra State, of course, it's going to be state government who are going to collect the tax. But the other question is, this state government, do they have the capacity to be able to get this very tax the way it's been pushed out there?
And Nigerians are skeptical. What are you doing with the taxpayers' money?
Exactly. Then those who are in the informal sector, that's where I have my concern. Because those who are in the informal sector, of course, your salary comes through a certain bank. But those who are in the informal sector, they don't get paid via salary. Rather, they make their money. So government will be able to get taxes from these very people.
Also, I got a notice that there is a new CBN directive. In fact, I'm going to read it from one of the new generation banks. I'm going to read it. I got a message now, but I'm not going to mention the bank. Effective January 1st, 2026, the Central Bank of Nigeria implemented revised cash transaction guidelines. These regulatory updates are aimed at promoting safer banking practice and everything they said. The guidelines outlined below will apply across all banking channels. Cash withdrawals, individual customer. A weekly cash withdrawal limit of 500,000 applies. So what it means that if you're an individual, you cannot withdraw more than 500,000 naira in a week. Withdrawals above this limit will attract a 3% regulatory charge on the excess amount. So if you withdraw anything above this, there will be 3% regulatory charge. Then corporate customers, a weekly cash withdrawal limit of 5 million. Withdrawals above this limit will attract a 5% regulatory charge on the excess amount. So whatever you withdraw above 5 million, let's assume you withdraw 10 million. So the remaining additional 5 million, 5% of that will be how much? That tells you how much you are going to pay. So you are going to pay 3 annuals. Then cash deposit. Customers may deposit cash without any cumulative limit. So they want everybody to be putting their money in the bank. So the deposit has no limit, and there's no charges on excess deposits. All charges previously applied to excess cash deposits have been discontinued. So before now, what they want is put all your money in the bank. And I know somebody will be saying there, I know why they are doing this. So that their tax of a thing will very well be well implemented, but I don't know. Then ATM and POS withdrawals. That's another thing. Daily cash withdrawal limit is 100,000 per customer. That's at the ATM, or if you're using POS. Maximum weekly withdrawals still remain 500,000 and across ATM and POS channels. And all ATM and POS withdrawals are counted towards the weekly cash withdrawal limit. So even the third party, we don't have time for all this. Still needs to tell you that it was one of the messages I got this very morning from one of the new generation banks telling us about the new CBN directive, which has taken effect anyway, because I would say take effect. It has taken effect since 1st of January. So it tells you that the government is serious with their new tax acts and with the new tax regime. They are serious. If you check the front pages of these very newspapers, all of them with this big advertorial. I know Frank must have said something like that. You saw how they are advertising about the coming of Nigeria Revenue Service, forwarding the Federal Inland Revenue Service. This is to tell you that new administration is taking on. So the government is serious. So the government is now our taxman. So you can safely call government the taxman.
But at the same time, is it not somehow contradictory that a government that wants us to have some kind of digital penetration where people should do more without cash, because government wants us to go cashless? That's why you have these very POS, the ATMs, and what have you not. And they're even trying to devise other means to do that. At the same time, government has introduced stamp duty, whereby for every transfer you make of up to 10,000 naira, you pay stamp duty of 50 naira. So don't you think that that is going to discourage people from doing that? So I don't know why we keep on having these contradictory policies when it comes to digital penetration.
Well, the big question is out there. You already threw it. The persons who have the answers are not here in the studio with us, but maybe someday they'll get to give us the answers one way or the other. On the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, bandits kill over 30 in Niger. Tinubu orders crackdown on page 3. Troops eliminate more than 23 bandits in Kanu, Katsina onslaught. Ordering crackdown all the way from France. Quite an interesting one, Franklin.
Well, let's see other headlines we have here, because quite interesting. Lots of things we have seen in the past days. Then let's see these headlines on the next.
Vanguard?
Yes, next paper we have here. Okay, so from Vanguard newspaper here, we have this advertorial coming from NRS, which is now Nigerian Revenue Service. And just for clarity's sake, NRS is now the new name for FIRS. So if you cease to see FIRS, know that NRS has taken over. And the headline here says 42 killed in deadly terror attacks. The story is on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. Trump stokes confusion in Venezuela. Maduro faces arraignment as global outrage grows. The story is on page 26. This one says industry chiefs, economists warn major tests for economy in 2026. These are headlines, scanty headlines on the front page because of the advertorial.
Absolutely. On the Punch now, Tinubu orders manhunters terrorists kill over 40 in Niger on page 6. Brace for anti-tax unrest, NRS tells security agencies on page 3. We need proper explainers on all of this. It's one thing to say brace for unrest. We need clarity. 1 minute, the certified true copy is saying another thing. The next minute, the initial one that was gazetted is saying another thing. New tax regime, what's true, what is not, on page 18. NNPC subsidiaries debt balloons 70% to 30 trillion naira on page 24. Only 8 out of 32 subsidiaries remain free of intercompany debt. NNPC owes units 20.5 trillion naira amid asset sales plan. All of these on page 24. Also, Tinubu, okay. Naira opens 2026 stronger at 1,430 naira 84 kobo to a dollar. Akpabio, FG drops defamation charges against Natasha. Dangote pumps 43 million liters, denies petrol shutdown. Disbursed student loan hits 161 billion naira. That's from Nail Fund. Obi not negotiating for Atiku's running mate slot, obedient coordinator. Gunmen demand 200 million naira ransom for kidnapped Edo doctor and his brother. Fatal crash, Anthony Joshua's friend's funeral held in London.
Okay, and you know that the driver who drove the vehicle has been charged to court, and the different questions have been there because the driver, from what we gathered, had driven Anthony Joshua for up to 3 years. So I don't know what they want to unravel for that very incident. And guess what? I read one report claiming that Anthony Joshua was initially sitting in front of that very car before he moved to the back because he's a big frame guy. According to that report, the driver couldn't be seen. Okay, the driver was not seen very well using the mirror by the side of Anthony Joshua, so he had to go to the back, and then that his friend went to the front before that accident happened. So let's see if they're going to unravel anything in that very incident. Then the headlines we have on the Guardian newspaper say tax law controversy deepens as National Assembly releases CTCs. The story is on page 6 because I know that this CTC was meant to clear every doubt, but now he has raised some other concerns.
Controversies.
Tinubu unleashes security as terrorists kill 30, abduct many in Niger. The story is on page 3. U.S. action against Venezuela undemocratic against international laws. The story is on page 3. Trump, would he listen? Because some persons are saying that it's against international law and UN Charter on sovereignty of states. Then, additional outlines power sector outlook, support for reform. The story is on page 4. And then this one says Venezuela crisis may create $10 billion hole in FG's 58 trillion naira spending plan. The story is on page 6 of Guardian newspaper. And these are the headlines on the front page of The Guardian.
When you were talking about what happened with Anthony Joshua's vehicle and all of that, something struck me. Have you ever seen these VIPs drive? Have you ever seen their convoys and how crazy their drivers are?
Okay, let me tell you this very story. I'm alive today because it's a testimony. I was almost killed by convoy of who I didn't know. All this reckless convoy. The way they drive is this. Once one vehicle accelerates, others follow. And we are just heading back to Oka. In fact, all of us in the vehicle, we had closed our eyes, saying our final prayers, until the driver just swerved towards the gutter. That was what saved us. And guess what? This convoy driver, they
don't pause.
Don't give a damn of what happened to you, whether you survive or not. So those guys are damn reckless. When I say damn reckless, they are. I don't know where they do get them. I do not know whether, but it appears like that is the training. You know why? I had driven the convoy of a former police commissioner in Anambra State during COVID. We used to come from Waka to Onitsha to monitor things, and we were doing Waka to Onitsha 15 minutes, and sometimes they will ask because the drivers who were doing that we have selected on purpose. So it's a bit like say they train them to drive this very way. I do not know, but from what I have witnessed, it seems they picked them and made them to drive that very way.
I understand the security situation and they need to be swift and everything. But look at what happened with Anthony Joshua. Look at how they cause havoc on the roads every now and then. And these VIPs, they stay in these vehicles while this madness is unleashed. I call it madness because we see them every now and then. Just yesterday, was it yesterday or day before yesterday evening, just by Ridge Road here. Yes, the APS junction, just by Ridge Road, it's actually a bent corner. The road is sort of bent. One almost crashed into other vehicles because they keep speeding recklessly. And so I keep asking the question, why don't you people do the best you can to secure this place? And then stop running like nothing is chasing you. The recklessness has got to stop. And you endanger other road users when you drive like, I don't know.
The thing is that we do not learn. If you cast your mind back to 2024, I think that should be around September, you record that a Edo campaign convoy crossed 5 persons, and nothing came out of it. So even when they get involved in these careless killings, it's just about compensation, or we cry about it. They issue precedent. We commiserate with the family because that has been the line. We commiserate with the family, and everybody goes back to square one and continue to live as if nothing happened. So the thing is, like I said, I do not know whether it's the mindset that they do create in the minds of those convoy drivers that this is the way they're going to drive, or if the convoy drivers who drive according to what they feel should be the way they should drive.
I strongly believe that there has to be something in the orientation. If these convoy drivers are driving out of a line, the persons they are driving should either sack them or call them back to order. But when these VIPs are in those vehicles and they drive like madmen, it means they sanction it. It's a training.
Of course, they do sanction it because you can't be driving in like a madman and somebody who is being driven will stay quiet. Many of them do not even obey traffic rules. Once they don't stay on traffic, if you watch most convoys, they do not stay on traffic and they do not obey traffic rules, traffic regulation, road signs. They do not care. Once they're on the road, they own that road. They own it, and nobody can do anything. Weak institutions. Where in UK, Prime Minister forgot to put on seat belts, just common seat belts. He was flagged down and he was given a fine to pay as a Prime Minister. If a Prime Minister can pay fine for forgetting to put on his own personal seat belt, he was flagged down by an institution, charged for that. He paid the fine. Now, anybody who thinks he has made money, not even those in government, anybody who can afford to buy 3 Hilux vehicles, 2 SUV, put the color, all of them black, put siren on one,
cover the plate numbers, you are good to go, and possibly hire these policemen, or even if they want to change their clothes to a vigilante service, or possibly they want to change their clothes to Nigerian civil defense, whichever way, put them there. Nobody cares where he made his money, how he made his money. He drives recklessly. Once he see any private vehicle on the road, he tries to push him inside the gutter. That's what they do. That is madness. When we say that this country, we are all mad, that is a class definition. And no government agency will stop him. Nobody will query his driving. Nobody will query why he even using siren. Nobody queries anything. He's a big boy on the road. He owns the road. After all, if businessmen are also doing it, politicians and everybody, if you can afford a Hilux vehicle, you may not need to afford 3. You can even afford 1 and use 1 SUV and put, that is just the kind of country we are in. It's a shame.
Very embarrassing.
It's a very big shame. Let's get into the conversation proper. And of course, Tony, you saw what happened over the weekend, what happened in Niger State, in a place called Kasuwan Daji Market in Demo Village, Borgo local government area, right? And we saw gunmen open fire. They burnt stalls, looted shops, took away food items, abducted some of the residents. And according to reports, the death toll as we speak is between 42 to 50 victims. Initially, it was at 30, but presently we are counting 42 to 50 bodies. And also, just about a few months ago, in November precisely, over 300 students were taken away in another part of Niger State, speaking about Papiri community. Now, Niger State has the largest landmass in Nigeria, and that equates to having the largest ungoverned space in the country. And at the end of the day, we see this country being a hotbed for insecurity. Give or take, about 1,044 people have been kidnapped actually between January 2022 and June 2023, and about 1,552 killed only in Niger State. And people have been asking questions. It's not like this place is so economically developed. It's not like the people are rich. So what is with this constant opening fire on innocent people, kidnapping them for ransom, speaking figures that are really scary? Is it a strategy to get at the government? And why does it keep happening? Why hasn't the government cracked the code to know why they keep coming? Why Niger State? We understand that the borders leading to places like Benin Republic, borders a couple of other states, makes exit and entry easy. Why is the government not tightening all of these loose ends?
It's a very unfortunate development. You remember when Trump conducted the air raid or the strike UX had on somewhere in Sokoto, I said that should have been in Niger State. If you recall, I said that very day. I said, why did they choose Sokoto? For me, I said the place they would have started with would have been Niger State, and I have my reasons. If they had done that in Niger State, the killings we saw wouldn't have happened. Because most times we see these things beforehand. And if you look around, Niger State had witnessed enormous death in 2025. In fact, that state can best be described as state of death. That's the way we can describe Niger State. I don't want to talk about what happened. In fact, early 2025, I think by January 18, those who died during the tanker explosion near Suleja, where a first tank overturned and exploded at Diko Junction, and where we are told that the blast killed over 100 people. I think I saw the dead bodies recently on social media. Some people started using that dead bodies to be the what they call it, carcass of the airstrike U.S. conducted in Sokoto, but that's not true. That was as a result of over 100 people that were killed and dozens, many injured. So that is just that. If you look around somewhere around February or May 2025, we saw banditry, kidnappings, rural killings throughout that period. Many rural communities in Niger State experienced sporadic kidnappings, armed raids by criminal gangs, including attacks on villages in Munya and the Sarakin Power areas. I recall at a point the governor said that if you are wearing dreadlock, for whatever reason, you'll be treated as a criminal. If you recall that time, on sight. You should be shot on sight, because that was the height of the whole development. If you look around May or thereabouts, we saw broader conflict. In fact, Niger State had suffered so much in the hands of these people. It tells you quite a lot. For me, there's no month, hardly any month you will not have one incident or the other in Niger State. As far as 2015 was concerned, there was incident in January, February, March, April. I think it was only June that we did not hear anything. There was incident around July, and there was incident around August. There was incident in September. I think I didn't hear anything around October. There was incident in November, and there was incident in December. So the only 2 months we never had incident in Niger State was June and October. Outside these 2 months, every other month recorded one incident or the other.
It shows Niger State is
very vulnerable, very vulnerable. The one many people talked about was the abduction of over 100 schoolgirls at St. Mary's Catholic College. With the killings of security personnel and bystanders, that one happened around November.
Of last year?
Yes.
Over November. 300 of them?
Yes, even December, we saw over 200 school children abducted from Papiri area. The one of St. Mary was in November. The one of Papiri area was in December. So even if you go by September, or even September to October, you saw we are flooding, compounded issues, but many died as a result of the flooding incident. Why the banditry was going on, reports of killings in rural areas, in those areas as a result of banditry, flooding took its own turn. So I can tell you any month to point out what happened in Niger State. So for me, Niger State with 25 local government area. Look at the one we are talking about, the one Bogo local government area. And if you look at reports we have got in 2025, we have Chiroro local government emerged as one of the most affected, with frequent raids, jihadist incursions, high displacement. That was Chiroro local government. But there were flashes reminiscent of what we saw in Chiroro in area like Rafi, Munya, Magama, and some other places. The truth remains that even if you look at some of these problems we keep having in Benue State, Plateau State, they do camp in Niger State and make inroad into some of these states. Because if you look at Niger State, just like you said, yeah, there is a state with the highest landmarks. Niger State is bigger than the entire Southeast put together. Yes, Niger State is bigger than. In fact, Niger State is nearing around. Is this 70-something thousand square kilometer? Niger State. If you can help me check that. But entire Southeast is about 29,000 square kilometer. That's entire Southeast. So what it means that Niger State is more than twice of the entire Southeast put together. That's what it means. So it tells you that these people, the bandits, killer headers, Boko Haram elements, ISWAP elements, Lakurawa elements, they all live in Niger State. There's no doubt. And one problem is that Niger State is bordered to Kaduna State and the Federal Capital Territory somewhere around the east, and has boundary with Kogi State and also Kwara State, and also Republic of Benin, somehow, and also borders Kebbi State and Zamfara State at the north axis. So it tells you quite a lot. So you find out that these people, they come in Niger State and find their way to some of these states in the north central. Bandits, their movement, and somebody was saying since American airstrike, we have had increased of frequent banditry since after the strike. And I listened to Gumi where he was saying that he has been marked to be eliminated by the U.S. forces. That's Gumi. I remember what he said, that, his statement seems to be coming true. What did Gumi say? Gumi said that with this airstrike U.S. conducted in Sokoto State, there will be more attacks because forces against U.S. we see it as a motivation to cause more attacks. So, and that's what is happening.
And so the Nigerian government, where does that leave us?
I think possibly somebody is influencing this because we think probably, or we had thought that this air raid would deter these people. We make them to ceasefire, to make them know that the day of reckoning is almost around the corner. We thought that they would ceasefire, it would, but these things are not, because Gumi said it. So could it be that Gumi is their spokesperson? Could it be? Does he speak for these people? Does he speak for the bandits? And all of a sudden he said that he's been marked for elimination by the U.S. forces. But in all of this, the case is, I've said it many times, we need this kind of satellite to be beamed around Niger State. Most times we focus on Sambisa Forest or some of this. We need this satellite to be in Niger State. Niger State is a state of death, and it has witnessed tremendous death. As far as 2025 is concerned, we have started in 2026 as well. Let's
quickly attend to some commercials. Do stay with us. When we come back, we'll take a look at several of the developments over the weekend. Natasha's case has been dropped. You'd like to talk a little about that when we come back. Do stay.
104.7 Udala Radio.
Udala Radio, 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Asaba, the capital city of Delta State, will experience the tremendous movement of the Holy Spirit as great men and women of God storm Asaba in a 3-day powerful prayer session led by His Eminence, the Most Reverend Dr. Daniel Oko, the Archbishop of Christ Holy Church International, and the President, Christian Association of Nigeria, TAG 2026 Prayer Summit. 2026 Prayer Summit is well packaged for your salvation, deliverance, healing, open doors, protection, and all-round fruitfulness. Date, Wednesday 7th to Friday 9th January 2026. Time, 10 a.m. daily. Venue, Christ Holy Church International Campground, near B Division Police Station, along Asaba Benin Expressway, Asaba, Delta State, Nigeria. There is no better way to start the new year than to start with the Lord Jesus Christ. Powered by Christ Holy Church International, also known as the Nation Builders. You are wonderful.
Listen, country people, sudden death full everywhere nowadays due to ignorance. Oh yes, now made Dr. Gospower Idimogo, President and National Coordinator Anti-Drug Abuse Movement, come naked for grounds where say enough is enough. Time don't reach to begin liberate and stop all this mess, stubborn disease. Then when no green man and woman drink water, keep cup. The Anti-Drug Abuse Health Education Program on radio, now to save people life and wipe out all those androgenic and nosocomial chronic disease them from person body system, either communicable or non-communicable, associated with drug abuse and infection resistance, leading to electromagnetic forces where they scatter brain. They cause organ system failure like liver function, kidney, heart, lungs, ulcer wound, and hypertension, to blood lumen blockage. So always join the Anti-Drug Abuse Health Education Program on radio, coordinated by Dr. Gospower Idimogo, Medical Director, Sunshine Integrated Hospital, Onitsha. Phone 08033206819 or WhatsApp 08109 114333. Country people, be one, no life no get duplicate.
Join anti-drug abuse health education every Wednesday by 8:45 a.m. on Udala Radio 104.7 FM Onitsha.
As the year draws to a close, we pause not just as a radio station, but as a grateful partner to say thank you. Thank you for believing in our voice. Thank you for trusting our platform. And thank you for choosing to grow with us throughout this year. From the beginning of this year to its final days, your support kept our microphones on, our programs impactful, and our community connected. Your patronage was more than business. It was confidence. It was partnership. At this moment, we sincerely appreciate Winners Global Estate, Celebrity Landlady, and Anti-Drug Organization. We say thank you to Wendy's Bread, Baboyo Herbal, Olojugu Microfinance Bank, and their Real Homes. Our gratitude also goes to Crystal Garden Estate, Fazona Real Estate, Best Aluminium, Microfinance Bank, and Choose Star and Correct Star Wire. We acknowledge the support of Aswage Assets, Waskana Solar, the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, EEDC, Higher Ground Real Estate, Zenapex, and Christ Embassy. We also appreciate the Onitsha North Local Government and the Anambra State Government for their trust and collaboration. As we step into a new year, we do so with renewed commitment, fresh energy, and a promise to serve you even better. Thank you for an amazing year. We look forward to greater partnerships, greater impact, and greater success together in the year ahead. Because together, we are Udala. 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
You'd recall that on the 12th of December 2025, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation filed a notice of discontinuance in the Federal High Court of Abuja, indicating that the government intends to discontinue the prosecution against Senator Natasha Akpoti. Also, the notice was received and endorsed by the court and now certified by the registry. And so the implication now is that the federal government has now formally withdrawn the criminal defamation and cyberbullying charges it had filed against Senator Natasha, who represents Kogi Central Senatorial District, bringing an end to the prosecution that was instituted against her, which has international attention. Questions have risen, A lot of interpretations have been given to it as a bid to politically silence Natasha for speaking out. Recall that she made a lot of allegations, from sexual harassment to a plot to eliminate her, a conversation she alleged was had between Yahaya Bello and Gosolak Mabio, and so many things. But Tony, I'd like to know the implications of this withdrawal. Does it mean that settlements have been made behind closed doors, bringing us to this point, especially since a lot of Nigerians stood behind Natasha in this fight with Akpabio since the very start?
When the government withdraws any charge against anybody, which they have the power to do so,
absolutely,
it means that your sins have been forgiven. Of course, there have been some entreaties, overtures, or some discussions behind the scene, and they looked at it this way, that yes, we can end this. But I remember Babio had made a statement while he was speaking at the altar of God, and he said that he listened to the priest preaching, and he found that the homily served that very day was directed at him. The priest was preaching about reconciliation, forgiveness, And then he mounted the pulpit and spoke, and they used the microphone to say that he has forgiven everyone who before now had defamed him, abused him, lied against him, that he had about 9 cases, defamation cases at different courts going on. But now he's using this opportunity to instruct his solicitors to withdraw all these cases immediately. Not just one of those things. And the next we heard was the cases against Natasha. But it wasn't the one that filed the case against Natasha. It was the federal government. It was the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation who filed criminal charges against Natasha. And if you look at some of these charges, they were brought after petitions by the Senate President Gospel Akpabio and former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello. They allege that Natasha made defamatory and cyberbullying statements during a televised interview in which she claimed there was a plot to kill her. And the federal government withdrawal via the notice of discontinuance on December 12, 2025 ended these proceedings. But if you look around, you find out that it could have been on the instruction of Akpabio that the Office of the Attorney General brought down these cases. No official statement has been made from the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation explicitly stating the reason for this withdrawal. So we are so much concerned about some of these developments. But just like we said earlier on, where where Natasha was alleging that Akpabio and Bello plotted to assassinate her, that was what the criminal defamation under the penal code and cyberbullying was actually all about. So the government has felt that there is need to get that withdrawn.
Okay, Tony. Let me ask, because we heard what Akpabio said after going for service on New Year, and he said, in the spirit of reconciliation, he has forgiven everybody who wronged him, and all his seats were going to be withdrawn. But this sitting question was not filed by Akpabio, as you have mentioned. Federal government took it upon themselves because they believe that Natasha made a wide allegation which borders on criminal defamation, and government went to court trying to make her to come and prove whatever she alleged. Now, as you have said, that we have not heard from the Attorney General of the Federation on this, but if eventually that the case was withdrawn on the strength of what Akpabio told us, does it mean that Akpabio is the one controlling the federal government? Does it mean that Akpabio was the one on whose instruction that case was filed
in the first place
by the federal government?
That is what it means. By implication, it's just the true situation. But that ought not to have been. No individuals have no power to file criminal defamation. It is only the state that can file criminal defamation. You can file ordinary defamation. And ordinary defamation and criminal defamation, of course, there is a thin line between the both. One, it has to do with a criminal proceeding. The other one is a civil proceeding. If any of them had filed just defamation, it would have been a civil proceeding. But for the fact it's a criminal defamation, is also a criminal proceeding, and it can only be filed by agency of the state. So it could be not necessarily that Akpabio is controlling the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. If you bring a petition to that office on issues of such nature, the office can proceed based on evidence it can also gather around. Recall that even when Dele Farotimi and Alpha Babalola, remember their case, their saga. Alpha Babalola wrote petition to the police, and police from the petition arrested Dele Farotimi and filed criminal defamation against him, and they arrested him, they detained him, and they filed criminal defamation. And remember, the file will always be directed to the Office of Office of Public Prosecution, Director of Public Prosecution, which is also an office within the Office of the Attorney General of any state and Ministry of Justice. Yes. So it can also revert back. So you find out that is the system. So anything criminal, defamation, if that can be found either by the Office of the Attorney General or by the police, there will be first and foremost petition. So they will not act on the petition. Not necessarily that you are controlling the office. It's based on the petition you have brought and based that you cannot file it yourself because it's a criminal defamation. You can only file just defamation, which is a civil proceeding, but they want to wear it criminal cloak. That's why the state has to file it by any of its agency. So, and it can only do so by a petition written by an individual.
Okay, that's quite an interesting one. And sadly, as it is, this is where we have brought the state of affairs to, with the way that we have institutions not working and individuals moving like they actually control these institutions. Well, unfortunately, they do without having the right to, but they still do. But it's also good that the cases are finally over, so that the people of Kogi Central, Tony, can eventually have Natasha back, to office and performing optimally without all of the distractions that come with this case. Don't you think so?
I think it's a different. A lot of things will happen and will shape 2027. And Natasha is still in PDP. Of course, she said that there had been some overtures made towards her to come into APC. And recall, she has an axe to grind with Yaya Bello. Yaya Bello has just declared his intention to run for Senate Kogi Central. And Natasha is also from Kogi Central too.
I say Yaya Bello is supposed to be having some criminal charges.
He seems, for now, having forgiven. Yes, he's a member of the Reconciliatory Committee. He seems having forgiven. We have those who their sins have been forgiven, likes of the former Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Tokowa. His sins seems to have been forgiven at this point. These were people that were having criminal, proceedings going on. Their trials were going on at the courts, but now there seems to be a pause. Their sins seems to have been forgiven. So he has declared his intention to run for Kogi Central Senatorial District, and he is also poised to see that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wins. And of course, he has declared total support. He has promised to mobilize a lot of votes. So it's all about politics. But Natasha, even if it comes to APC may likely give Yahya Bello ticket. And where Ododo is the one who controls the party structure in that very state, and where he has also accepted that Yahya Bello is the leader of the party, even when he is the leader of the party in the very state. So he has seen Yahya Bello as also his own leader. So if you look at that, and Natasha Akpote, he said distractions. The woman, she likes controversy anyway. She likes it. Sometimes she's histrionic in nature. Histrionic is someone who likes making headlines. Natasha likes headlines. She likes it. And she cannot stay away from controversy. Even when there is no controversy, she will have to infuse one. And for her, it makes her connect to the people, because she can always appeal to the sympathy and sentiment of the people to make waves. She likes it, and it has been giving her some kind of advantage. So she will find another controversy. If this one is going down, she will find another one. And once that is done, it will also make her to leverage on that to appeal to the Nigerians. There is one thing about Nigerians. They like pity. They like pitying people. If somebody is trying to witch hunt you, if you are to look at it from that angle, if somebody is trying to come after you or trying to do something untoward or trying to witch hunt you or trying to dominate you, or in any way, or people will find somehow to come around and then be short. That's just that. So the point I'm trying to make is Natasha knows the game she's playing, and she needs this kind of thing for her to break even. It was through controversy she became a senator. Through controversy. In fact, some of her milestones have been through controversy, and it has been giving her, for her, it's her own style, and it's working for her. So you have to find out what works for you. But this game is not ending at Babi. If you think you're withdrawing this case, the woman is not letting go. she has to stoke another one. She won't let go.
Okay.
So, Fabio, if you want to run, there is no place to run to. There is no place to hide.
Okay, sorry, I have to take you back to the case of Natasha versus the federal government, where the federal government was reported to have withdrawn the criminal defamation case. Like you have, like you explained, in criminal defamation, the case is between the state and the accused.
Yeah.
So in that very case, it's not between the petitioner and the accused. So when a petitioner files a petition and police takes over that very case, or the office of the AGF files the case, that petitioner or the petitioner's personal interest is no longer decisive, right? That's what it is. So if in this very case that Abio has said that he's no longer interested in that very case, is that enough for the federal government to withdraw the case?
That may not really be enough, because it is not, the case is no more within the influence. The case is no more within the purview of the petitioner. The state has taken over the case. But the petitioner, we cooperate with the state, because some of the both evidence, witnesses that will be called, the petitioner will help bring this case. And where the petitioner may come back and say, I'm no more interested in this case. And if the state goes on with the case without the petitioner's cooperation, the state may go on and lose the case, and it becomes embarrassing. So you see the nexus where the petitioner says, I'm no more interested in this case. I think I've made peace with this person. If the state insists that it will go on with the case, the petitioner cannot stop the state. But the only thing the state will lack will be the cooperation of the petitioner, where it would affect the trial. Because if it does not cooperate, the state may eventually lose the case. So sometimes the state will maybe strike out the case based on the fact that if we don't pursue this case with their cooperation, we may likely lose. So instead of losing out, why don't we withdraw the case? I don't think if you understand that nexus. So because the petitioner will not give cooperation, and there is likelihood that the state will lose, so they may say, why don't we withdraw this matter, since the person who filed petition against this person, which we have taken over, is no more interested. So what are we going on with? So what is the excess? Because the idea is to do justice. The reason for state taking over this case is to render justice to the person who filed petition. And where the person feels that he has got restitution, or he has got, anything he can call it, justice or whatever. So what's the sense of going for justice when the person says, I've got justice? Or maybe I'm okay, I'm not interested again. So generally in some places where such a petitioner says he's no more interested, the state usually withdraws such case, because there is no more life in it. There is no more point going after it when the person who you are doing this for is no more interested.
All right then. Quickly, Tony, let's take a quick look at this. Then we go on a commercial break and open up the phone lines. And that is a report from the Punch newspaper that says, I'm going to read out the headline. Relating to the NRS boss asking security officials to brace up for what he called tax unrest. He called it anti-tax unrest, yes. And so I'm curious to find out what you think about this supposed anti-tax unrest. That's the executive chairman of the Nigeria Revenue Service, speaking about Zach Adedeji, asking security agencies to be on alert over planned nationwide protests against the new tax law. And so I am curious to find out, are they going about this new tax law the right way? I mean, in terms of making it very clear to Nigerians, what is the National Orientation Agency doing to make sure that the average Nigerian understands and feels safe with this new tax regime as against the way they are going about it? I think it's really haphazard. Looking at the controversies that the two different copies of the document present, and the fact that it's not been addressed squarely, and the fact that the average Nigerian has not been, properly explained to, like we would expect that they would have.
It's gonna be a difficult inroad, because Nigerians naturally, they are not averse to tax payment, but they are averse to accountability of tax payments. I've said it many times. Naturally, if people are seeing what the tax money is being used for, and you tell them to pay tax. In fact, anybody who does not pay, those who are paying will be after the person, not even government. Because everybody say what the tax money is paid for is used for. I don't know if you understand that. But where people see their tax money is being used for unscrupulous overseas, movement. I have said it many times. People should know. Everything members of National Assembly, the food they eat, they drink, they use, the vehicles, and everything they do, these things are paid by you. So whenever you see any politician doing one thing or the other, it's your money. Nigerians' money, taxpayers' money. And when they appropriate, I will use local language, when they decide how this our money will be used, they bring out a large portion for themselves and bring smaller portions for real development. Nigerians are not happy. During appropriation, because I've seen situations where Nigerians are not even involved in how their tax money will be used. The president sends an executive bill. The National Assembly invites ministries, agencies, parastatals to come and explain why those things must have given to them based on the circulars they submitted to the presidency, the office of the budget, because these are the people that will create these things. They submit to the office of the budget, the president forward it to the National Assembly. The National Assembly invite them back to come and explain why these things are the way they are, because they must have been the ones submitted it, and they will add and subtract. After adding and subtracting, they'll now bring it together and say, this is our appropriation law. That is how our tax money, the money me and you pay, that's how it's going to be used. So now, how did they involve Nigerians in making such preparation? Because that's why we see their budget, National Assembly budget, I don't know what the amount is. It could be up to 300 billion. We see the ones that are appropriate for judiciary. We see the one that are appropriate for executive. So if the one that are appropriate for executive will be roughly the same amount of money. Who knows? So how are the interests of Nigerians being taken care of? We've seen money for real development in the last budget, I think budget of 57 trillion or thereabouts, where we have given the breakdown. So people paying this money. Each time a politician makes official trip, you are the one paying for the official trip. Nigerians are the one paid. This trip Mr. President made and is still in France is your money. The money you pay, the tax money. If he comes back, it's that the people that go with him, the people that accompany him, even their stay, the accommodation, the hotel, the transportation, the feeding, everything is your money. And when you have no say on how this money, do you know you dare not mess around with tax payers' money in UK? I've been saying this. The Chancellor of Esquire, who controls the account, who is more like the Accountant General of in our own version here, the Prime Minister cannot give him order to make money available for this or for that, and he cannot do that. If we know that the Prime Minister was the one that appointed him there, though he's elected anyway to represent a particular district, but being in the same party with the Prime Minister will now appoint him into that role. Not that the Prime Minister brought him into government. He was elected, because all of them, they are all elected. So the point I'm trying to make is, they are very meticulous with taxpayers' money. It must be for what it is meant for. And in such appropriation, parties are involved to make sure that nobody takes domination for any reason. But here, that the presidential system somehow has its own flaws and is not favoring us. So that's why they mess around with our tax, our tax payment. At the end of the day, they go high-handed on us to pay tax. But what is that money used for? Look at our roads. Look at our public utilities. Look at our ports. Look at our infrastructures. Look at our hospitals. Look at our schools. What are we seeing as a result of this payment? If we see quite a lot, you don't need to go high-handed. You don't need to go the way you are going, gun blazing. You don't need all those things. But I encourage Nigerians to pay tax. You must give Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give God what belongs to God. In fact, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ paid his own tax. When one of the disciples came calling saying that they are asking for tax, he asked him, go to that river, Open the fish mouth. From what you will take from the fish mouth, go and give them. They try to find out why. They say, give Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give God what belongs to God. So,
absolutely. To whom much is given, much is expected. We'll take a break now. When we come back, it will be your time to join the conversation. Keep it locked to Udala Radio 104.7 FM.
104.7 Udala Radio.
Bread, Wendy's bread, for your family breakfast. Wendy's bread, Opa chicken they do yellow. Wendy's bread, Mama Papa they like Wendy's bread, chicken and do. Wendy's bread, even children they like Wendy's oh, Wendy's bread, Wendy's bread, get it better, tasty, we go sweet your belly. Wendy's bread, Wendy's your chicken.
Wendy's bread, tasty bread. You can contact us on our official address, 2nd Business Park, Enugu Road, GRA, beside Misha, Anambra State. We also have another branch at St. Michael Plaza at Tandy Road. Also contact us on 070-1149-1571. Wendy's bread, your tasty bread.
Wendy's bread.
When you think of roofing, think of strength. When you think of durability, think of beauty. And when you think of all three combined, think Best Aluminium MFG Limited. At Best Aluminium, we don't just manufacture roofing sheets. We create protection, comfort, and style for your home and business. Whether you're building from scratch or repairing an old roof, we have exactly what you need. Our products include stone-coated roofing sheets, aluminum roofing sheets, and colored roofing sheets. But that's not all. We also offer residential and commercial roofing services, roof repairs, gutters, emergency roofing services, and even durable cookwares that bring quality to your kitchen. Visit us today at 30/32 Anyika Street, Awada Obosi, Anambra State, or call us right now on 0806-416-2374 or 0706-059-6203. With Best Aluminium, you're investing in peace of mind, in beauty, and in the future of your home. Because when it comes to roofing, the best choice is always Best Aluminium MFG Limited. Tomorrow's technology today. Public notice. The governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo, CFR, has set up an ESCO committee for the recovery of all government land at Otumoye Creek, Onitsha, in Onitsha South local government area of Anambra State. All persons purportedly laying claim to all those parcels or plots of land located at Otumoye Creek, Onitsha, are by this notice requested to submit the following documents to the office of the Commissioner for Lands. 1. Allocation letter. 2. Certificate of occupancy. 3. Building plan approval. And 4. Any other relevant documents conferring ownership of such plots of land to the individual. All documents are to be submitted in 2 sets within 14 working days from the date this notice was first published. No submission will be received or attended to after the expiration of the said 14 working days. Signed, Mrs. Nkiru Mokwe, Esquire, Permanent Secretary for Commissioner for Lands.
Nepa don't take light again. Wetin I fit do? Every day fuel don cost. How person wan take survive? I go cook soup today, tomorrow e go sour. My people, why you dey stress when the sun dey your head for free? Switch to the affordable solar energy wey Wascana Solar Company dey give small businesses and homes across Naija, whether na barbing salon o, restaurant o, supermarket o, or your 2 or 3 bedroom apartment. Wascana Solar get correct durable solar wey go serve you wella. No more NEPA wahala, no more expensive fuel. Let the sun power your business and home for free. And no forget o, solar fans, solar lights, everything dey available. Call Wascana Solar now for 0806-374-2374. I repeat am, 0806-374-2374, or send email to wascanasolar@gmail.com. Visit their office near Olive Relief after Marble Hill School Junction, Okpanam Road, Asaba, or Classic Line Zone 2, A4 Electrical Dealers International Market, Obosi. Wascana Solar, Okunbe.
Please listen to this notice. The general public is hereby notified that by virtue of a criminal act filed against Chief Augustine Chinedu Emelube and consequent upon an order of court made to that effect, Chief Augustine Chinedu Emelube have been ordered not to do anything whatsoever that may lead to breakdown of law and order in Oba Idimili South Local Government Area, Anambra State, more particularly with respect to his coronation, Ofala. This court order is valid till pending the determination of all criminal charges pending to his credit. Please read the Daily Sun newspaper of December 31st, 2025, pages 16, 17, and 18 for details. O.N. Kelvin and Co. Legal Hub, Nigeria. Announcer.
As the year draws to a close, we pause not just as a radio station, but as a grateful partner to say thank you. Thank you for believing in our voice. Thank you for trusting our platform. And thank you for choosing to grow with us throughout this year. From the beginning of this year to its final days, your support kept our microphones on, our programs impactful, and our community connected. Your patronage was more than business. It was confidence. It was partnership. At this moment, we sincerely appreciate Winners Global Estate, Celebrity Landlady, and Anti-Drug Organization. We say thank you to Wendy's Bread, Baboyo Herbal, Olojugu Microfinance Bank, and their Real Homes. Our gratitude also goes to Crystal Garden Estate, Fazona Real Estate, Best Aluminium, Microfinance Bank, and Choose Star and Correct Star Wire. We acknowledge the support of Aswage Assets, Waskana Solar, the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, EEDC, Higher Ground Real Estate, Zenapex, and Christ Embassy. We also appreciate the Onitsha North Local Government and the Anambra State Government for their trust and collaboration. As we step into a new year, we do so with renewed commitment, fresh energy, and a promise to serve you even better. Thank you for an amazing year. We look forward to greater partnerships, greater impact, and greater success together in the year ahead. Because together, we are Udala. 104.7 FM. Seriously authentic.
104.7 Udala Radio.
You're listening to the Polity. Get involved now.
It's absolutely time for you to get involved. Put a call across to 0803-221-6973, 0803-827-6694. Let's hear you. You have 2 minutes. Be as objective as possible. Go straight to the point. And we are live on Facebook, Udala Radio 104.7 FM. Hello, good morning. Are you there? Hello, good morning. Yes, good morning.
My honor, good morning, Chisom. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year to
My
you
name
too.
is George.
Go ahead, George.
To start with, is that paying tax is very okay. Like what the speaker said. You cannot just come out and tell people to start paying tax without letting those people to know exactly what you are going to use that tax for. What are the people benefit? You promise us that promoting a fuel subsidy that we are going to benefit from it. Rather what we see next is when I have to go and buy private jet and yash, buying a new SUV car for the whole out of a service. See, let me say something here. Nigeria is only a country that all this kind of thing can happen. But people don't do things the way they like. This is our government. I don't sometimes I ask myself, what kind of country are we? What kind of citizens? This is no more about the government anymore. It's about the citizens. Because they are just there. Anything that they give to us, we collect. We collect everything that they give to us. The other they come out and tell us that subsidy is over. Tell us that we are going to benefit it. Today now we are still buying for a costly. What are the difference that Tinubu administration will tell us now that Nigerian citizens have benefited since he came into power 2027. Rather than we are getting to more poverty, more insecurity in the country. How many times our creeks of life have collapsed in last year? You know that the people collapse over 2 times in a week, 3 times in a week. And they are collecting what are you doing with all this money? For crying out loud. We are just in a big problem. We are just in a big problem. This is the real tax collector. Real tax collector pressure that is what we have. Thanks very much.
All right. Thank you for your contribution. Let's hear you 0803 221 6973. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I love the people.
Thank you. What is your name? Where are you calling
Mr.
from?
Uchenna. I heard that some say that.
Okay. Uchenna, you may need to reconnect and then go straight to the point. Good morning. Are you there? Hello?
I want to morning to you.
Hello?
Chisom.
Good morning.
And a pleasant morning to you, my honorable speaker, Chief Dr. Olisa Mbeki.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
My regards to you, Franklin. Honorable Austin, wishing you from Nodi, and Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year to you.
That, I want to take on the issue of what happened in Niger State. I think the insurgents and the militants, whatever their name and nomenclature they have been packed to, have given Nigeria Happy New Year on their own quarter. And I think it's not good for our democracy. And I think, secondly, that we talking about manpower, we having shortage of manpower to fight these insurgents, I think we are not being truthful to ourselves. What we ought to do is, where are those taproot? Where are those sponsors? Until we deal with these sponsors, somebody has made himself a spokesperson of all these insurgent groups and is moving freely. He only jittering because he felt that what he's doing is wrong, that the U.S. is coming after him. And must U.S. cough? Not until we do the right thing in Nigeria. The answer is somewhere to be found, and we know it. Secondly, you don't tell me that you begin to tax people unnecessarily. The one being each time we discover excess of borrowing in this country and taxation, and we have nothing to be showed for. Like the Nigerian government are such a people that doesn't work. The government officials, so to say, are the kind of people who like to impoverish the people with hardship while they are enjoying luxuriously. And I think it's high time they deviate from that attitude, because what happened in Venezuela is just a proper effect. Mr. Bach, thank you.
All right then. 0803 221 6973. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Tony.
You're welcome. It's good to have you.
We all are welcome to the news. Thank you for monitoring hearing. And let me start with the Niger State. You know, Trump came in and on the 6th day of December, he dropped what he called the Christmas gift for the terrorists. And just yesterday, terrorists gave us our New Year gift. But I still want to tell Mr. Trump, you got the Christmas gift on the 25th day of December, 2025. But you never knew they had given you a gift prior to that gift from you. On the 24th day of December, travelers from Abuja, passengers traveling in the bus from Abuja and other vehicles were taken away inside the Bushland forest by these terrorists. And I know, I'm sure, they must have beheaded all of them by now. But remember, if Trump gets in and attack them, they must attack them. Okay? That is their own way of reprisal that they respect. Several passengers coming from Abuja to celebrate Christmas down here. All of them inside the streets of their place. I don't have any from
around April 2022 and taking us into our administration. 2022 around April. 240 farmers, okay, had their fruit open in Niger around April 2022. Men that toiled and mourned to see by the ground. It did not change of their crop. So they weed, they do it, they eat that, no matter work. But that's talking to for the turn and came back the next year. As the hands and legs.
We're struggling to hear you. Would you please, I don't know. The voice is fluctuating.
Yes. Can you hear me clearer now?
Yes, let's do this again. Go ahead.
Yes. These men, 240 farmers, they had their fruit split up in Niger, around April. They came the next day to harvest their crop. So they to have their hands and legs tied with strings. And these are men, these are scoundrels, murderers. They felt that night and started cutting open their fruit. They killed the 240 in Niger. What am I saying here? I'll keep on saying it. Please, let us have a break. Let us look away from what's happening in Uganda. Let us start looking around us here. Let us have an eye on everything around us here. I used to tell the Christian community. Not telling us about Catania and Antioch and Jerusalem and all the rest. Tell us about Lobi, Osmogu, or Kadafiti and things around here. Let us pay attention around us here. They have come to kill all of us. Remember what the former GPO told us, told you, former head of state, that could go on. If you keep quiet, these people will kill everyone that take over Nigeria. At the convocation in just in 2018. Are you forgetting that? Please, let everybody pick up now. Forget about what somebody is promising you or telling you about the security or everything. Okay?
Thank you for your contribution.
You know the backbone. You know the victory. You know the engine room. You don't want to crack down on that. And you're telling us about insecurity. And you're going to employ 30 million soldiers and 30 million businessmen. Let everybody sit up now.
All right, thank you. Let's head over to Facebook real quick. The handle is Udala Radio 104.7 FM.
Okay, so we have a couple of posts here, and this very first one is coming from Sebastian Ibe. He says, looking at the policies and programs of APC-led government, the question begging for an answer is, are we cost being Nigerians or we are cost? Very pathetic seeing some persons or group of persons negotiating with bandits and terrorists, and the government of the day keeps mute about the whole scenario. Honestly, the worst that has ever happened to this country today is having APC-led government at the quarters of power, because one cannot give what he does not have. And he said it is so sad that Mr. President's house is on fire and he is out there in France. Okay, I think that's where I'm going to quote your message. Retrato Bia Wikejuku, watching from College of Education in Suba, says, from all indications, Tinubu may never visit US as long as he's still alive, and it will tell a lot about his drug case in USA and the recent activities of Trump that has sent fears all over the third world countries. This is the perfect time for that case to be revisited for proper handling. Spillover effect may be seen in the conduct of next presidential election as it concerns rigging and the manipulations of election results. Dr. Mrs. Molebara from Ore says, as the year 2026 begins, let's review our lives and activities individually and collectively with a view to improving and making resolutions and plans. Let's take stock and assess our achievements and failures of the past, as well as set goals for the new year, thanking God for gifted life to behold this year. Thank you, Dr. Mrs. Molebara, for the new year wish. Then Mo KK Odinaka Chukwueme says, or Chukwueme says, okay, he's watching, or she's watching from Kumasi, Ghana, and okay, she wants us to keep the flag flying. John Chukwuemeka Nwodo says, may God save us in this country. We are tired of everyday more bad stories. Palisman is watching from Ibadan, and he's saying hi. Thank you for watching. The Collins Uzomo Wakwe is watching from Ihembosi Streets, Wally Onitsha. Ochenu Igwo Chendo, okay, from Bob Bostov. Iko Okam, Sunday Jonathan. Thank you all for watching. Then Mazi Warrior Chikwadoram says, every man with his right sense actually knows that pain is important. But the reason why Nigerians are kicking against it is because the Nigerian government is not performing well on what the masses will benefit from. Okay, he posted from FM Onitsha. Thank you, Mazi Warrior.
All right, then. That's the much we can take from Facebook, and we're rounding off the conversation today. Tony, what are your final words going to be?
The clarification made by Ononoga that there was a meeting between Mr. President and Paul Kagame of Rwanda, and that the picture was first taken with a maybe not good camera, but the person who took the picture used the AI to improve the quality of the picture. Not that the picture was generated wholly by AI, but the AI was used to enhance the quality, to make it look good. But yes, one may agree that sometimes you use AI to enhance the quality of the picture, especially when the picture wasn't taken with a good camera, or even when it was taken with a good camera, but you need to add one or two things. Because if you look at the picture, we saw two plates of food, one before President Paul Kagame of Rwanda and one before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The one before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there is no more food. How could Mr. President wipe everything on his own plate, that the plate becomes white?
So, Tony, what are you suggesting? Are you suggesting he's a glutton? What are you suggesting?
No, I'm saying to tell them the extent that the AI was used to enhance that image. Because the person who did it forgot that the plate before Mr. President could not have eaten his food to the point that not even a single...
Could have been taken before he ate.
If you finish your food, especially if you're eating anything, rice, okwa, whatever, there could be an element.
The picture could have been taken before the food was served.
There's food on the one before the Kagame. There's no food.
Could still make a lot of sense.
The point is, Nigerians are pointing that out. It was something done erroneously.
He could have chosen not to eat anything.
Maybe you don't understand the picture. It means that the Mr. President has finished his own food and the plate now becomes white, not even a remnant. Even if you had eaten rice, there could be one
grain.
One grain. Yes,
okay. So then, just quickly. Now that we have seen clarification coming from Temitope, which was dropped by Ononoga, they said that the phone camera that was used to take the original phone was not clear enough. That's why they used AI to enhance it. Would you have preferred that it was left the way it was than this explanation? Does this explanation explain this in R? Because I'm looking at Mr. President of a person, and all they could use to take the picture is phone camera. Despite the retinue of aides that go about with Mr. President, he has an official cameraman.
Of course, he has a official cameraman, and if you look at the reason given, it does not even suffice. For me, yes, I did not doubt that there was a meeting between Mr. President and Paul Kagame. I said it, there could be a meeting. But the image generated may not be the real image. That's the point I'm trying to make. You can use AI to generate any kind of image you want. In fact, you can even tell AI, please, AI, give it such prompts. I want the two persons to wear pajamas. Christmas, they will wear it. You can tell AI, please, I want you to generate any form of food, lavish food with lavish drink. AI will generate it. Whatever you tell AI to do, it will do. Just AI will actually give me the original picture and it will add up whatever. So you don't need to add up if you are to enhance just the quality. You don't need to add up. So from what we saw, there are some adds up and subtractions. But the key thing is there could be a meeting that you don't do this. Mr. President is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Whatever comes out from that office should be genuine.
All right, then. Thank you, Tony, for your analysis today. We get to do this again tomorrow. Franklin.
Okay. Thank everybody for listening today. Tomorrow is another day. Good morning.
All right. Good morning to you. Do your bit as a patriotic Nigerian to get the Nigeria that you and I desire. See you tomorrow, 9:15. Down to 11 a.m. I am Chisom Chinedu. Have a beautiful day.
104.7 Udala Radio.
Microfinance Bank, Banki Begwejio. Microfinance Bank, Banki Maramba. Banki Bego Anoya. Oluchukwu
Olojuku Microfinance Bank, they're here to make that your dreams come true. We get different loans so with the offer. What you feel use boost that your business.